Kill me! I'm here! Kill me!
Hey everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of La La Land, the 2016 Oscar-nominated movie that feels like it's up for like every single category at the Oscars this year, and was quite the critical darling. And it's a musical, and it stars Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling, and smattering of other actors you may recognize, like Rosemary DeWitt, John Legend, who's not really an actor, but you recognize the name, Tom Everett Scott, who of course is in from That Thing You Do, and Dead Man on Campus. It's a classic movie in my view. But anyways, so this movie, it's a musical, but it's funny. I personally am not a big musical fan. There are a few exceptions that I do quite enjoy, like Across the Universe is a movie that I really, really like, partially because it was the movie that my wife and I saw on our first date, but otherwise I think it's also a really well done movie, and it works within the world. But generally speaking, I feel like a lot of musicals, they're just kind of like, you know, telling a story, then all of a sudden music happens, right? And personally, that just isn't to my taste. This movie was interesting because it actually was not at all, you know, well, not, I wouldn't say not at all, but to a large degree, it wasn't what I expected. The trailers make it look like it's a very fantastical film, and it has a lot of like incredible visuals. And don't get me wrong, the movie is definitely shot extremely beautifully, but overall, this movie is actually a lot more real and a lot more grounded than I expected it to be by a large degree. And it's actually a fairly sad story in parts, and it's a love story, which, you know, you get that from the trailers, but you expect it to be like kind of like them dancing on the clouds throughout, and stuff like that does definitely happen. And when that stuff would happen, I'd be like, okay, yeah, this is what I thought I was getting into. But generally speaking, there's a lot of scenes of like people sitting around their apartment talking, and then there's, you know, there's lots and lots of music in this movie, but there's actually not that many musical scenes. But that, I mean, you know, there's a lot of moments where people are singing and the guys are playing instruments or whatever, but that's not really, it's not really a musical scene, because it actually is just the thing that's taking place in the characters' lives at that moment. Like Emma Stone's character comes home, and Ryan Gosling is practicing a song, so the two of them ended up singing along with the song. And you know, that's you can kind of give it a bit like say that it's a bit of a musical scene, but it's not really. There are, however, smattering of scenes that like definitely are what I described earlier, where all of a sudden people are talking, and then all of a sudden they break out into music, and they're all extremely well done. But it's interesting because it happens so rarely in the movie, to a large degree, that it almost, like when I was watching it, there was moments where people would all of a sudden break out into song, and I'd be like, oh right, this is a musical, because a large portion of the film doesn't feel that way to me at all. It feels like a movie with music in it, but doesn't feel like a classic musical. I thought that this movie was very well done to a large degree. Like I think the visuals of it are definitely the best part of it. I think some of the songs are extremely catchy, like the City of Stars song is in the trailer, is quite catchy and gets stuck in your head. And there's the Fool's Dream, I think is what it's called, or whatever, the audition song. I thought that was very well done. But to a large degree, the music isn't really. Like I said, there's a lot of moments in it. Like it reminds me, you can tell that Damien Chazelle, the director of this movie, really likes music based on this and Whiplash. And there are lots of scenes in this movie that remind me of that, where there's people like, you know, energetically playing music, and it's all really, really great and really cool to see. But it kind of feels like more of a documentary parts of it, because like it just looks like people just playing music, and there's not, like, you know, there is emotion that goes into it, because the characters are explaining that this is why they like the music, and then they show the people why they like it and that kind of thing. But it just didn't feel like what I would expect out of a musical, which I actually kind of like better. However, I would say that I thought some of the actual musical scenes were not that great. Like there's moments where you can see, like, you can see the actors like seem to be like kind of, it looks like in their face that they're like, okay, gotta do this now, gotta do that now, gotta do this now. Kind of took me out of it a little bit. The story, like I said, gets sad in parts, and was pretty well told, but it wasn't like, you know, amazing. It didn't blow me away. Like I would not say that this movie would, like, if I had seen this movie before I had done my top 10 list, I don't think it would have been on it. I do think it deserves a certain level of acclaim, especially for the visuals. Like there's some really impressive shots in this movie, and the effects are extremely good when used, and the like just the everything about the way the movie looks is really really great. So you know, I could definitely see this movie being up for best cinematography and even best director. But like personally, you know, I feel like it's gonna win best picture because the Academy loves musicals and it's up for 14 freaking awards. So I feel like it's going to, but personally, I would not give it to it whatsoever. But you know, I respect. At the end of the day, what I would say about La La Land is that I respected it more than I enjoyed it. And you know, that to me is a mark of a well-made movie, but not a interesting story. So at the end of the day, that's where I'd go. I mean, I do think that the storyline is good, but it just feels like something that I've seen many times before, and it just didn't wow me. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on La La Land. If you've seen the movie, let me know in the comments below what you thought. And when you tell me, you know, if you say, you know, I loved it, let me know if you're a musical fan, or if you say I hate it, let me know if you hate musicals, or basically what your position on musicals are. I think that it's interesting to see what people's perspective of this movie is based in relation to their taste in musicals. Please hit that like button; it does awesome things for my channel, and please subscribe and hit that notification button. I love talking to you guys about movies, and that'll hopefully ensure that you stick around, and that would mean the world to me. Other than that, have yourself a nice day.